Welcome to Just Being Real with Houston. Today we have a gentleman that I have known for quite some time now. We've seen each other at networking groups. We've talked on passing, but whenever he does talking at the networking groups, it's always an entertainment. I've got to learn something about him a few weeks ago. This man had a store at the Bucs Stadium. Like, he's an alumni for the USF. He's going to dig into it. We'll get into it, but with no further ado, this is Jeff Neal Fox with Fox Marketplace. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Houston. It's great to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. It's very excited to be here. I'm glad that we were able to connect and do this because, like we were talking earlier, we don't get a lot of whole networking when you're there to talk because there's so many other people.
Sure.
So this is really great. I'm excited. But let's jump into it since we've been talking. We went on a boat ride. It was great. We got to know more. But now I want you guys, as the people out there, to understand who Mr. Fox is. So how did you get into apparel and branding in the first place?
I was when I graduated college, we started a publishing business, and the Buccaneers approached me to publish their team newspaper, the Buccaneer newspaper, the Buccaneer magazine.
Right.
And back then, the Bucs weren't very well, and I was having a tough time just surviving off of the advertising revenue. So we started selling trinkets to our subscribers, and we turned that into a multi-million-dollar business, especially when they changed the logo. They went from the flag logo, Bucko Bruce, to the current logo that they had now.
Right.
The Glaciers came to us, and we rolled out the logo. And that was like somebody pouring gasoline on my business. It just blew right up.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
especially when the team does well. When they make the playoffs, everybody there's the bandwagoners.
Yeah, yeah. So where are you originally from then?
I'm originally from Long Island, New York. And I came down here in 1971 to attend the University of South Florida. Married my wife, went into business, and never left. Raised two of my children here. My grandparents, my grandkids are here. So we're Floridians now.
I would say so. That's what I was getting at earlier when I said. So what made you choose to stay in it?
Well, life has ups and downs, and it's all about survival.
Right.
And I saw there was a need for somebody to sell the merchandise, and the people that subscribed to my magazine, they were Buck fans. So my Periscope went up, and they bought everything that we sold. And then one thing turned to another, and especially when they make the playoffs.
Right.
And then my ship came in when the Buccaneers won their inaugural Super Bowl in 2003. It was like pandemonium. There was a line outside my store. It was a 3-hour wait just to get into the store. People love winners.
Right, right. So did you have any struggles when you first started? You said you hit it big whenever they did, yeah. But what about leading up to that? What are the struggles? Did you have any struggles?
Well, sure, of course you do. You make a lot of mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes. You're judged by how you deal with adversity. But I think one of the best value propositions that we did is we bonded with our clients. We found out about them. They referred us to other business. You don't have that in most stores. They don't care.
Right.
We cared about our clientele. We stayed in touch with them, and we marketed to them, and we captured all their information, their email address, their phone number, their address. We made up brochures. We mailed it out to them. We did a lot of discounting, coupons. We started the Pewter Nation Club. We did autograph signings. That was huge. We'd bring in the famous football players for charity autograph signings. And one of our keys to success is that we engaged the media. We would send out press releases to the media, and they would come to our store, and they would do news stories right out of our store, and that just was lit up our business.
And now
being on TV.
Did they do that just because you were promoting the Bucs?
Yeah, well, the Bucs. Yeah, well, we were one of the few people that had the merchandise, and a lot of times they would come in not just to interview me and the merchandise, but they were looking for the opinion of the Buccaneers fan on the street. What better place to find a Buccaneer fan than at Bucs and Bulls Heaven?
Right,
authentic merchandise. So, and then the TV people, when they came in, we always gave them a compelling interview.
What they wanted, right?
Yeah, they're always looking.
You're definitely a showman.
Yeah,
You
but
definitely know how to put on a show.
Well, definitely there's live TV, and then there's stuff that they recorded.
Right. Right.
So, but
I'm sorry. Nope. Sorry, I have an issue with that. Apologies. You have a sportsmanship about you where you put that show on and memorable.
Sure. I mean, I'm positive. We know our craft, and now we switch gears a little bit with the FoxMarketplace.com. Back in the days when we owned the Authentic Team Merchandise, Bucks and Bulls Heaven, we bought licensed merchandise that was already made up. Now everything we do is custom. We take somebody's dynamic logo and put it on everything, from apparel, the coffee cups, the keychains. Like I said, if you go to our website, foxmarketplace.com, we have 2 million different items that we can put somebody's dynamic logo on correctly. The only thing I was telling you earlier, the only thing that we don't do is permanent tattoos, but we do make up temporary ones. So the answer is yes to everything, and we're just always looking for clients that can see the value of what we bring to the table.
My mind is turning. I didn't even think about it so much when we were talking about it earlier, but now that we're sitting down and think about that permanent, the temporary tattoos would be perfect for a promotional or little festival that you're at. It gets people to stay at your booth, and then your logo's on them.
Well,
do you sell them a lot?
Well, yeah. What we try to do is interview our client and find out what their culture is.
Right.
Who are their clients? Let's face it, the best place to get business is from the clients that you already have.
Correct.
And a lot of times you want to leave something behind to make them feel special. So make it easy for them to refer you to somebody else. The next thing you want to do is a lot of times you have clients that are you haven't seen for a while. So you want to rejuvenate them. So a lot of times, when you give promotional items to clients that are no longer doing business with, you're rejuvenating them. But let's face it, the best place to get clients is from referrals from the clients that you already have.
Right.
To keep that into the pipeline, and that's what we recommend. And like I said, we're able to put somebody's logo on whatever they want, or again, we can make suggestions and recommendations on trending, unique items that people are going to use. And that's I've never seen a car that doesn't have a drink holder in it. Tumblers are real big,
right.
And pens. When I first went into the business, I thought pens were crazy. Everybody has a pen. Well, hello. I read a survey one time that most pens have 8 different owners. So if somebody has a pen, it goes from one person to another. Yeah, a lot of things are digital, but the American Constitution was signed with a pen. Pens are still around,
right.
And when people come to pay a bill, people want you to autograph the receipt and everything like that. Everyone should have a pen with their logo on it. That writes. A lot of pens skip. That's because a lot of these pens have been sitting on a pallet for 3 years and the ink has dried up. Our pens all write. You only use fresh ink. Everything we do is 5-star.
Deal. That's great. So do you have any advice for anybody that is maybe young, that's maybe in their 20s or just starting in this kind of business to get into the apparel or making clothes or?
Well, first of all,
advice?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I always look for mentors, meaning people that know more than me, and who are experts in their field. And I became good friends with Derek Brooks, who's, the football player, Hall of Fame football player, Ring of Honor. And I asked him that question. I said, "Hey, Derek, what makes you so good?" And at first I thought it was mundane advice, but it's not. He says, "I show up to work and I go to work." And a lot of people don't do that. They show up, but they don't go to work. They rest on their shovel. And you always have to be inquisitive. And I never shut down any people. A lot of people want to give me advice on things that I already know, but it reaffirms what I already know. And if I walk away with a nugget of information, I feel like I'm somewhat of a success. And then I'm going over to a mentor. One of my trade secrets is that I'm an expert because I have other experts in my corner that watch my back. And that's and again, I can tell you all the trade secrets and everything, but it's all execution. And you have to activate and execute, show up to work and go to work, and build relationships with your suppliers, with your customers. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, had this slogan, "It's nice to be nice." People like doing business with people who are honest, that deal from integrity. And that's what we do. and we really care.
Integrity, finding people with integrity is super tough.
Well, it's easier to deal from integrity, to be perfectly frank with you. You don't have to have a good memory. It's less effort.
Yep.
And people want to do people that subscribe to normally accepted business practices.
Right.
And that's what we do.
That's good. That's great. That's great because, like I said, integrity. It is easier to have integrity because you don't have to remember what lie you told. What did I got to do this? What did I do this?
Misinformation should not be an option, and people like it if they you give them money, but people remember how you make them feel, and that's what we try to do. We try to make all our customers feel good, make the experience a good one.
It's the experience. It's not. So, do you feel it's not so much you're giving the apparel? It's the experience.
Well,
it's the experience of going through the process. Not people. People don't want to have to go spend money on stuff like this.
Well,
but pleasurable.
Yeah. Well, we try to make the experience easy, and one of our trade secrets is to make sure that we start off with the right ingredients, because a lot of times people give us their logo and it's not in the right format, and a lot of times they have it in the right format, but they don't know they have it because they can't open it, because they don't have the right program on their thing. So that's where we come in. If somebody gives me a logo that doesn't meet our specifications, we'll convert it. Right. We'll basically redraw their logo. Everything we do is approved. We don't do anything without our clients seeing a proof before we go to press.
Nice. So you were talking earlier on the reels about the stitching. That's a cheaper? Do most places charge by the stitching? I've heard,
right. Well,
they cheap it out.
You're talking about embroidery, and if somebody's logo, some people might have embroider their logo with 1,000 stitches. Right. We'll take that same logo and embroider it with 7,000 stitches. So it's a lot tighter, a lot cleaner, and that's one of our trade secrets. What we do is we take somebody's logo and I have my art team evaluate it. Right. To see how many stitches will get the best results.
That's what you're paying for, folks, right there. You're paying for the knowledge and the expertise.
Yeah, well, we're competitive. We don't want to. We always want to be competitive, but we want to get it right. Mm-hmm. And we take the time to interview our clients to find out more about their culture. What are they trying to accomplish? And then we have this uncanny ability to connect the dots. And get them the most business that they can. It's very, very important. People are always looking for new clients, just like I am. But it's even more important to stay in touch with the clients that you already have, because you pass the dragon at the gate. They trust you, they know you, they like you, they pay your bills, they respond to your phone calls, they approve proofs, and you don't have to get on your hands and knees. And that's the best client is the client that you already have. And it's also the ones that refer you to other people. It's much better for you or somebody else to say how good our company is than for us to pound on our chest. Absolutely. Referrals are huge. True referrals are huge. Do you guys do finder referrals? How those little, I don't know, I don't want to say kickback, but like I seen it today, a car guy selling cars. Oh, you refer somebody and they buy a car, I give you $200. Well, every situation is different. Meaning we partner up with some people, and split commissions and stuff like that. But it just has to, each deal stands on its own, and we'd like to be careful and prudent. So it's not a standard across the board. So it's not something that hey, refer me somebody and I'll give you money, because that's where I feel a lot of people do fake reviews and fake referrals because they're getting something out of it. They're getting cash out of it. I give a referral because I get the joy of you're succeeding at leveling up. Well, we definitely remember the well when you drink the water. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and we practice what we preach. We use a lot of promotional items too. And also a thank you, a heartfelt thank you, a handwritten note. Right. I can't say I don't, take people out to, to lunch or dinner, or comp them or, a polo at no charge. We do a lot of that. Here's a quote that I came up with all the time. Everybody heard of PR, public relations. Okay, that's so important in your business. I always ask people, what's the first 2 letters of profit? PR. PR. And then we subscribe to that, and we practice what we preach. We tell our clients that they need to, practice public relations, and we practice it as well. We stay in touch with our clients and make them feel good. And the most important, do a good job, deliver our products at a competitive price, and deliver it on time.
That's what it should be. That's why you've been so successful.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm going to, I don't want to say it, but we're as good as our last deal too. You know what I mean? So we always like to be fair with our clients, and we don't hide from them. And again, the most important part is the finished product, and the finished product always comes out good because we use very seasoned production partners, and especially when some of our clients step up to the plate and buy nicer merchandise. Right, it looks better.
So that was going to be one of my questions, I think, earlier. You say nicer merchandise? Is that
you can buy a polo for $20, or you can buy a polo for $150. Like the ones that Tiger Woods wore, walking on a Sunday. Some of these, we have all the top brands: Nike, Adidas, Cutter Buck, Perry Ellis, and the list goes on.
Do you think? I mean, actually, on polos, because you're big on polos and stuff. Saying that's somebody. Are you big on having a pen pocket or a pocket?
Well, that's some people, that's a personal preference. A shirt that has a pocket costs more money. It's a little bit of an upcharge, but we sell polos with pockets, and we sell them without pockets. Okay. Whatever our clients want. They can mix and match too.
Do you have any that have them on the side?
Yeah,
because I have a polo that has 2 pins.
Sure. Like I said, we have access. Our website's robust. There's 2 million different items that we're able to put a logo on.
Yeah, I've looked at
so sometimes
so many items.
Sometimes our clients get overwhelmed, because they can't make up their mind. So a lot of times I'll make recommendations, and we'll present something good, better, best. That's what we normally do, and most people go for the best. But some people have a champagne appetite with a beer budget. They want to go for the the top of the line stuff, but they don't have the funds to do that. But it's all the times I'm out and about, I always have my my logo on my clothes because I'm waiting online somewhere and people talk to you. What do you do? And they say, "Oh, that's a neat logo," and then it's an open up. I can't tell you how much business we've gotten from that.
So that's exactly.
Just being at the right place at the right time.
That is why I don't understand why business owners are not wearing their own apparel all the time.
They should always wear it, and not only that, but I'm a real big fan of morale. And a lot of businesses have employees, and you want them to have, they want them to feel good. When they go in their closet, they want to pick something that fits good, launders easily, and that has their logo prominently distinguished on their clothing, on their hat, on their jacket, on the keychain, on the answer is everything. Yeah, they take ownership into the company.
I have to say, as you're talking, I'm looking at this jacket. I like the jacket because it's an Eddie Bauer.
Yeah.
That is a nice, that's me on a day like today where it's not super cold, but it's got a little chill. That's be perfect to wear.
Well, like
check in about those because
if somebody goes to our website, we got a solution for everything.
I like
we got I can get somebody a jacket that they could go to Antarctica with, or I can give them a bikini with the logo on it. So,
speaking of that, I'm gonna have to go on your website and look. I do a lot of hiking, and I need some apparel that I can go hike with when it's cold. I have winter jackets from like when we go to Colorado, and I don't want to be walking out there with a big old snow jacket, but I don't want to be walking out there in jeans and everything bundled up. There's got to be some. That will hold up to that environment.
Sure,
I don't want to take a polo out there.
We have a solution for everything, and that's where where a lot of times when we sit down with clients, we try to onboard them, find out more about them, their culture, what they're trying to accomplish. Do they have employees? Do they have clients? Do they have trade shows that they go to, different events, charitable events, and then we try to interview them and come up with solutions that make sense.
Good deal, because we're definitely going to talk when I get with my new company because he wants to do a lot more promotional stuff. And that's where I think you're great at because you have the expertise of everything for promotional.
Well, it's not right there. The answer is yes to everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we get it done right. One of our trade secrets is to start off with the right ingredients. And in today's digital world, everything is crazy. Not everything meets the right specifications, and that's where we come in. A lot of times, some people might try to do something on their own. Good luck, because they don't have their digit. All the logos look the same on the computer, but they're not. You know, they're saved in different formats, and each printing process has a different format, and we make sure that we get it right.
So for one, and that matters about who you do your work, because I had one of my old SSR hats, and the guy put it on the machine, didn't let me really proof it. And you would think somebody that does this all the time, embroidering and stuff, would know that lettering would have been jumbled or meshed together, and that's what happened. Like, you couldn't really see the word project. It wasn't clear because of the font.
Well,
he could have been like, "Hey, sir, you know, if you would have picked this font, it would be a little bit better." But I didn't know.
We proof everything. Not only do we make a proof, but we even do an actual stitch out, so people see what it would look like. Because and then we get them to approve that. If they approve the stitch out, the finished product will look just like the stitch out.
Right.
You know, we maintain quality control. Somebody prints up 100 shirts with the embroidery on it. Unit 1 should look the same as Unit 100. We maintain huge, very strict quality control.
Deal. That sounds it. So going back to the wearing your own products and your own brand, how important is that for a homeowner? I mean, a business owner.
Well, they shouldn't leave their house without their logo on. Right. They should have a name tag. They should have a business card. They should have a coffee cup, a jacket. You know, I mean, you know, you don't want to overdo it, but the last thing is, you know, you don't want to be silent. Sure, yeah, I don't always wear logo stuff, but when I'm in the line of duty, when I'm working, I always wear clothing that has a logo on it. And I'm also I use a lot of self promos too. I give away a lot of merchandise with my logo on it.
It makes sense, because that's what I got thinking about. I'm like, even doing these channels, I'm like, why am I going to give other people, like, pay for a shirt for somebody else's logo to be on there and for me to support somebody else? I'm a business owner. Why would I want to support my own business? If I want to buy a shirt, I'm going to buy one with my logo on it to promote my
sure,
shirt, right?
Yeah, but that's what people want. Oh. You know, all their, they want stuff to give to their clients. They want stuff to give to their employees, to reward their employees. They want giveaways for contests. You know, there's all different solutions, and we have a solution for everything.
Good deal.
Prudent.
So this question right here, do you see people waste money on apparel that looks cool but doesn't actually help their brand?
Well, yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. You know, because a lot of times people have a vanity, and just like women, there's a term that there's no such thing as unisex. Mm-hmm. A unisex means that a woman's going to wear a man's shirt. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And last time I checked, women were built differently than men, and you know, we have in all the clothing that we have, it has like somebody of you ordered a polo, we have the female companion. You know, the buttons are different, the build is a little bit different, but you know, we try to match the blank with the right person that fits good. Right. And but most important thing is the budget. You know, a lot of the stuff is, you know, you can spend a lot of money on clothing.
Is there too small of a budget? Well, if you're just starting, like you got $100, is there?
Well, you know, I mean, you got to start somewhere, you know. So, but we can start small, but we have larger clients as well, you know. So I mean, it's all important.
So, did you have any struggles?
Yeah, sure. Things that we live, you know, we don't live in a perfect world. You know, things go wrong, but you know, you're judged by how you deal with adversity, and we don't have many problems because we're so careful. Right. But if there is an issue, we treat it like an airplane crash. You know, meaning, you know, no matter how big or small, we stop what we're doing, see what the problem is. We make good on everything. You know, we as a rule, we don't have many problems because we're so careful. You know, in the proofing process, we make sure everything we do is custom, so we don't move forward until somebody approves a virtual proof.
And how many times did it take you to learn that?
Well, you know, I've been in business for a while. Nobody likes making mistakes. And, you know, what am I going to do with all this merchandise with somebody else's logo on it? But that doesn't happen very often, or at all, really. Where I guess we're a little bit too careful, and we communicate and tend to over communicate. And I think it's better to over communicate than under communicate.
Absolutely, I agree. Communication is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I've noticed that I fell on that communication, which I'm trying to get better at, because I always don't want to feel like I'm burdening somebody or bothering them because life is busy. But it's not. You're not bothering. You're trying to help them. So you have to communicate and let them know what's going on and this and that. So that's great. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We're going to do it more.
Yeah.
Definitely, because there's so much knowledge in that you are willing to give.
Branding your businesses has to be one of the most important things in the world. Branding your businesses isn't being just logos on your clothing, logos on coffee cups. It's how you answer the phone, how you treat people, how you respond to them, thanking them after the job, meaning like realtors, or mortgage people. They just made the biggest purchase of somebody's life. They should, give them something that you make them feel good, and that's what we do. Right. If somebody comes to us again, we'll give, if they ask for advice, we'll give it to them. We're probably going to give them advice even if they don't ask for it, because, we have to sleep night and have to deal from integrity.
So talking about branding, that's a great question, or a great thing to talk about. What is one of the best ways to brand your company? Is there a best way, or is there a way to do it without spending a whole lot of money for those new people, new companies?
Well, you have to be consistent. I still believe in business cards. I believe in all of the above. Right. Email, text message, Instagram, social media, network meetings, phone calls, pop by,
That's how you
visiting people in the hospital, attending somebody's funeral, for their parents' funeral, or sending them a condolence. People like to be made to feel special, and that's what we do, and that's what we recommend. So it's a whole process, and that's what we encourage people to do. Make them feel good. It's nice to be nice.
That it is. And it doesn't cost you anything. Oh, wait. Yeah, it does. To be humble.
Well, the more you hit a chord there, because the more successful you become, the more humble you should be.
Absolutely.
And that's what we subscribe to.
Absolutely. That's where I see business owners from successful to not successful. People that actually give back to the community and push in and humble, that understand that it's not about them. It's something more.
Well,
and this person over here, me.
Well, you give, you get, you get, you give. It's a very formula that works every time. Right. So you definitely want to be gracious, thankful, show your appreciation, and that's what we do. People don't like to be taken for granted.
Right. That's for sure. 100%. So, Mr. Jeffrey Fox, how can people get a hold of you?
They can reach us at foxmarketplace.com.
Okay.
My phone number is on my website. It's 813-391-2495. I'm accessible 24 hours a day. Jeffrey at foxmarketplace.com. But a good place to start is on Google, because when you put in foxmarketplace.com, up comes our website, has a phone number, our address. We do meet with people in person. We meet with them on the phone. We meet with them in Zoom meetings. Whatever it takes.
Right.
So that's what we do. We're a real big fan of good communication, and that's what sets us apart from our competitors.
That's great. I really do appreciate having you. We're definitely going to sit down more. And
I'm ready. Like I said, we always want to be the best version of us, and we're constantly trying to improve and be a better person. And we go to all the trade shows to stay abreast of all the trending, unique items that we can offer to our clients.
Yeah, I seen that you just went to the one in Orlando.
Yeah, right.
How was that?
Was
anything
great.
Memorable that's anything new that you're like, wow?
There's always stuff that's new. Stuff that's new. The thing that's always new, a lot of times, we live in a everything revolves around the cell phone.
Right.
People can fry an egg on their cell phone. They use it all day long. So anything that has to do with a cell phone, computer, or their car, I always recommend you want to get a branded item into somebody's car. You want to get into a woman's purse. You want to get something into their kitchen. You know what I mean? Where they use it. You want to get something that people are going to use, not going to sit in some bag in the garage or throw it away.
Speaking of that, I got a question for you because this is a gift that I've seen people give, and I want to start doing it too eventually. Is engraved knives.
Yeah.
The Cutco knives, they're giving them as gifts.
Boy,
with the company's logo on it. Is that something that people would want?
Oh yeah,
you think
it's
so?
expensive. You just mentioned a brand that's very expensive.
It is.
But I have a set of Cutco knives.
They're great knives.
And that's actually a go-to gift that I do. Sometimes the couple's getting married. I'll get them a scissor that's $150, and on the scissor we'll engrave, their name and the date that they got married.
So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the person's name on it, like Mr. and Mrs. whatever, and then
well,
the company that I work for.
A lot of realtors just send somebody a big expensive house. Well, have them do a cutting board with established the year that they were established, or welcome mat, or keychains, or toolkit. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Right.
The answer is yes to everything. What we try to do is, again, figure out somebody's culture and what motivates them, and connect the dots and what's the best path to do.
Do you guys do knives?
Yeah. The answer is yes to everything. And what we try to do is, all our clients, we try to onboard them correctly.
Right.
Because we have somebody's name, their first name, their last name, their address, their phone number, their email. We stay in touch with their clients. We send out email blasts all the time. Yes, if somebody doesn't want it, they can unsubscribe.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we honor that. It's automatic. But we stay in touch with our clients, and we recommend to our clients that they stay in touch with them, that they touch their clients so many times, whether it's during the month, during the year. Stay in touch. Stay in touch. And then, by the way, I've been meaning to do that. And then, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So you definitely want to stay. And everybody's looking for new business, but the best place to get new business is from old business.
Absolutely. Keeping the people happy, keeping them understanding.
Well, and you want to be referable.
Yeah.
Just because, it's like you said, you only want to refer somebody that is going to get it done. Stay in touch.
Absolutely.
If somebody sends me a referral, I keep them in the loop. One, I thank them. Two, I let them know what's going on. Because if I give somebody a referral, I just it's not a lead. I'll call the person and tell them, hey, Houston's going to be calling you. Take his phone call. I think he can help you.
Absolutely, and that's why why we work so good, because we're like-minded that same way. It's absolutely, we want to, because if I refer somebody, hey, call Jeff, and if he doesn't get back to him, I'll be like, Jeff, what happened? Because they're expecting. I've already told them that he's going to be calling them, and if he doesn't, then I'm going to be like.
Well, I try to give all my clients 5-star attention, but especially the ones that I'm referred to. Because I want that to get back to the person that referred me, so they feel comfortable doing it again.
Absolutely. Because referrals are where it's at.
Yeah, it's much better to get a heartfelt testimonial.
And honestly, it doesn't cost you physically money-wise to get a referral that way, because you've already paid into Google to get the referral from the other person. So that's technically a free lead. So why wouldn't you treat it? But I think maybe that's why people don't treat it. Well, people sometimes don't treat their paid leads like that either.
Well, a lot of it's about the follow-up. You got to follow up.
Now, what's your normal time frame of follow-up? What's your procedure normally?
I'd like to follow up as fast as I can.
How many? So if we met today and I wanted to talk to you about something,
I might go. I might go back and take your business card and send you a short email. Hey, Houston, it's nice meeting you. Yeah, same day or the next day. Try to seize the moment. You know what I'm saying? While it's fresh in your mind. You can't always do that, but I try to. And not only that, but I try to onboard you into my system, so at least I know once a month or a couple of times a month you're getting me an email from me, automatic. We send out emails all the time. And again, if somebody doesn't want those emails, they can unsubscribe and it stops.
Right.
But a lot of and then you even got records to see how many people opened up my emails, where they went to in my site. It's technology is crazy, amazing. Especially with artificial intelligence. We try to be the best version of us, and take the time to find out more about their clients, how they tick, what they're looking for.
Awesome. I appreciate this. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Click, subscribe, comment below. Thank you. Just being real with Houston.